Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. So today we are going to talk about night shifts and how they affect you, maybe in a toxic way. I'm in between night shifts. I started my nights yesterday, had kind of a sleep. I'm not a brilliant daytime sleeper, and that's one of the problems with night shifts. And there are a few other problems that we'll talk about today. Right now, it is about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I have come to a park nearby just for a bit of a run, so I can, look after my health in between my night shifts as well. I came back home about 9:30ish, had a quick breakfast, and went to bed about 10, maybe 11 o'clock, I'm not entirely sure, and woke up about 3 o'clock. So, as I said, I'm not a great daytime sleeper, and that is why I always have a problem with night shifts. But some people can sleep alright during the day, so it's very variable, and that is something which varies between different individuals. But because I cannot sleep well in the daytime, I will tell you how important it becomes to catch up on rest after the night shifts or during your night shift if things are not that busy. And I will also tell you why I don't sleep during my night shift. It's a bit complicated. Anywho, right now I'm going for a run, and we'll keep talking while I'm running. So I've done 2 laps. It's about 5 kilometers. It's not necessary that you have to do a full marathon before you go to work, but I think personally it's nice to have done some sort of exercise. Now people might be thinking, will you not be tired at night if you've done a full workout? As I said, I'm not saying it's for everyone, and I'm also not saying that everyone should do it. I'm just saying it's, for me, a way to freshen up. Because if you think about it, us night workers, we spend most of the night in the dark, mostly awake, rarely asleep. And if we don't spend our night in the dark, it's under a fluorescent light. So I think it's always nice to have some sort of sunlight come at you, so you're closer to nature. And even though there is no documented seasonal disorder with just doing night shifts, but it's definitely seasonal disorder or seasonal depressive disorder which can happen if you're not getting enough sunlight. So especially in winter seasons in northern hemisphere, you don't get enough sunlight or daylight, and as a result there is a risk of you getting depressed. So the same is the case with me. If I'm doing a night shift, I do sometimes start feeling a bit low if I've not been out and about. Now our night shifts come in 2s and 4s and sometimes 5s, very rarely, but some people are just used to doing night shifts, and hats off to them. I personally don't think it's very healthy, but they all have family commitments, and I understand it, and sometimes it's not possible for them to get out and do a few laps like I can. In which case I would suggest just go out to your garden with your family, with your friends, obviously with COVID, stay safe and put your masks on and everything, but follow the law, go out in the garden and have some sunlight, have some personal time with nature, and you're definitely gonna notice a difference in your health. Now speaking about health, I am not sure entirely if there is a definitive study done about health effects of night shift working, and that is something which is exploited by all the employers, and they sometimes don't give you allowance for working night shifts. Having said that, I've personally come across a few papers which mention high blood pressure among night shift workers, a risk of heart disease among night shift workers. There's also one paper which talks about how night shift workers are more prone to smoking, obesity, so different health problems. It does say that it is more prevalent in people who work night shifts. But if you think about it, when you're doing a night shift, there's not much you can do at your workplace unless you work in a fancy multi-million-dollar company which has a gym on site, or entertainment facilities or squash courts and stuff like that. So you spend most of your night either sat behind a desk or maybe working. So in my case, I'm not sat behind a desk all the time, or in other cases some people might get a cape or something. Now if you sat behind the desk for, I do a 12-hour night shift, let's say 10 hours, then you go home and you're sleeping, and you wake up and you're eating. And a night shift, if you're busy, you get tired, you eat a lot, and if you're not busy, you're bored, and any snack you can get your hands on, you start munching that. At least that was what I was doing until 2 years ago, until I finally realized that it's not a healthy habit and I need to give up on that. So the point I'm trying to make is, when you're doing night shifts, there's not much healthy activities you can indulge in. So I think personally, if you're doing just night shifts all around the year, then your likelihood of getting unhealthy may be a bit higher. We have a storm in England these days, and that's why it was raining this morning, so I couldn't do it in the morning. So I've come right now. Still cloudy, still very windy, so you just have to take care of yourself and stay warm if it's very cold. Other thing I get asked sometimes about night shift is how do you manage your food. I have my timed normal meals, so just because I'm on a night shift, I will not have an extra meal. That's my routine, works for me. So I have my food before going to work, then I do my night shift, I have a cup of tea with a snack, and I'll have another snack 4 hours apart, and make sure I don't get more than 150-200 calories in each snack. And then when I get back home, I try and do some running. If not, I still eat something before going to bed, because I'm not a hungry sleeper, and I try and optimize my sleep conditions as much as I can, because I really need a rest, because my work being a doctor is such that if I'm not rested, I'm more prone to making mistakes, and if I make mistakes, lives will be lost. So I cannot be unfair to my patients. So I try and get as much sleep, a restful sleep, as I can. So I eat breakfast. It doesn't have to be very heavy. I don't eat to my full, just eat enough so that my body is not hungry while I'm sleeping. And then when I get up, I can either have a quick snack or my dinner, depending on what time I wake up. But sleep is something which is a very luxurious commodity for me. So we'll talk about sleep after my night shift, because that's the best time to talk about sleep. It is very complicated for me, at least, because as I said, at work, because my commitments are such that I try not to sleep. Personally, I come here after my night shift, before going to bed, because I do some exercise, get a bit tired, have a small snack, and that gives me a very nice sleep. Some people don't fancy doing it after the night shift. Just allocate some part of your day and try to get some exercise, or just walk around a bit, get a bit healthy, get a bit active. I'm finished now. I'm gonna do a cool down. Look at this, and then I'm gonna go and bring my kid back home from nursery. And that's another important aspect: family time. People who do night shifts do not get to spend too much family time, and that is important. Remember, you're a social animal. You were made and designed to have social interactions, and night shifts take that away from you. Now, don't forget, you are also worried about work. Everything at work is replaceable. Everything, including yourself. But as far as family is concerned, nothing is replaceable. So you do want to spend quality time with your family, be it after your work, or be it on a weekend, or on your days off. Just forget about work for some time. Take a rest. Your brain needs it. And it's very, very important that you have social interactions, family and friends, to keep you company. Otherwise, I've seen people who get so much indulged in their work that become mental health patients, and you don't want that in your life. You don't want your family to feel ignored, so try and give them time, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get my kid, go home, spend 2-3 hours of quality time with him, and then I'll be off to work. Okay, so it is 7 p.m. I've left home. Actually on my way to work. One of the advantages of night shift is you don't meet as much traffic at night time, so the roads will be clear. So normally it takes me about an hour and 15 minutes to get to work. A night shift takes me about 40 minutes to get to work. So there are always some pros to doing a night shift as well. The con is it's an hour drive, so driving out to work at night is not that big a problem, but if I am driving back home in the morning after doing a very busy night shift, it can be a bit tiring, so we'll talk about it in the morning. Another pro of night shift is parking. You can see there's loads of parking spaces behind me, so you don't have to look for parking. In the morning, daytime, parking is a bit of an issue, especially in this country. In other countries, maybe not. Another important topic that people bring forward is sleeping during your night shifts. Now, in some professions, it's not as critical, and people do sleep during night shifts, and I don't see a problem with that. Even some doctors will have a rest at night shift if it's not that busy. Again, different people have different capacity, different responsibilities. The situations they deal with on a day-to-day basis are different as well. I am an anesthetic and intensive care doctor, which means most of the situations I am called for are very emergent, life-threatening conditions, and you need split-second decision making, and you need to be on your toes all the time. That is the one reason that I don't sleep at night when I'm working. Other people might do, may not, and again, I think it is whatever is your local policy really, and whatever suits you the most.
I don't know if you know yet. I've tried some time, and I'm dying to tell you, you blow my mind. I don't know if you know yet. I've realized, and I'm dying to tell you.
So night shift is over, and I'm back near home. It was very busy, so busy that I couldn't even sit down and have my lunch. Still got it in my bag. I'm gonna have it at home now as breakfast. So that's it. That's how sometimes night shifts can be extremely busy, and sometimes they're not as busy, but they're extremely busy and you've not had a sleep. And it's a few tricky bits. The first night is always difficult because you're getting into that pattern of sleep and wake up. That's quite fairly new. And as your night shifts progress, it becomes a bit easier. However, it is a drive back home, so if you're doing an hour drive back home after a night shift, it can be you may snooze on the wheel. You don't want to do that. So our hospitals here provide you some sleeping facilities. If you're too tired after a night shift, you can have a quick nap and then go home safely. That's something which is exclusive to hospitals here. I'm not really sure if other places do anything similar. First thing in the morning for a bit of a workout, which I did today. I was feeling a bit sleepy, so I thought if I go for a run, I get rid of that tiredness. I've got to go back to a normal day shift tomorrow, and that switching between routines is a bit difficult, and that is something night shift workers have to face. So if I sleep in the morning, I won't be able to sleep at night, and then tomorrow morning I won't be as fresh. So plan will be not to sleep in the morning and then try and sleep early at night time, so I'm a bit more fresh tomorrow. So let's see how that goes.